Hi, it's Phyllis. Today we will be making my super top raw ring, super top right angle weave ring. Stick around, we'll get our materials list going, and we'll get to doing the project. For today's video, I'll use my 4x4x4 cuboid beads, and it's a jadeite full pearl luster bead, and I got it from Budget Bead Box. I'm going to use my Toho size 11 beige crystal seed beads, SuperDuo beads, 2 size 10 beading needles, my bead board, my lighter for burning the ends of the threads, 8-pound fire line in crystal color, my nippers, and my flat nose pliers. So most of the time when I give my my materials list, I use my flat nose pliers, and this is how I use them. I squeeze down the end of the thread and to make it oval shape, because the thread is round. I make it oval shape, and then the eye of the needle is oval shape, and so I just slide that right down. Well, if I was in camera, it would. I slide the needle right down onto the thread, and that's what I use my flat nose pliers for. And we'll do the other side. And for instruction purposes, I cut a 1 yard piece of my 8-pound fire line to do this project with. Slide that right down there, and make sure you have an even amount of thread for your tails, and we'll get started. I'm starting the project by stringing on 7 of my size 11 seed beads and 1 of my cuboid beads. I'm going to pull those off, right off the needle, and I'm going to cross my needle, the other needle, through the cuboid bead, and we'll put my needles together and pull these beads to the middle. And that's the beginning. Again, we are still doing our right angle weave series, and this is how we're beginning. I'm going to make a 3-unit base of cuboid crystals, and I'm going to do that by stringing on a cuboid bead on each needle and letting them slide down towards the work, stringing on the 3rd bead and crossing my needle through it, through the thread, pull the threads. That's the first cuboid unit. Again, I'm going to string on 1 cuboid bead on each needle and let them slide down towards the work, and I'm going to string on the 3rd, cross my needle through it, pull the thread. 1 more unit, string on a cuboid bead on each needle, let them slide toward the work, string on the 3rd cuboid bead, cross the needle through it. And then to complete the base, I'm going to string on 3 size 11 seed beads on each needle, And then I'm going to string on an additional size 11 seed bead on either needle and cross my needles through the seed bead. And this completes the base of the ring. Now I'm going to make the ring band by stringing on one seed bead on each needle and the third seed bead to cross through. And I'm just going to use my size 11 seed beads to make this ring band. And it's repetitious. You string on one seed bead on each needle, and you string on the third seed bead on either needle and cross your needles through it. Pull the thread. And you're going to do this until the ring band almost fits around your finger. Almost fits. And what I mean by that is what we have to do is connect the end of the ring band with the beginning of the ring base. So once you get really close, it's not fitting, it's almost fitting, then I will show you how to close that off. I'm going to continue stringing on the length of my band while you're not looking, and I'll pop back on once I'm ready to close it up, and we'll do that together. All right, see you in a minute. So now my ring band fits almost around my finger. Almost. And I have room to make one more unit. And for this, I don't even know what size the ring is. This is 11 units that I already have strung on. I believe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yep, so I have 11 units strung on. And now I need to attach the end of my ring band, to the beginning of the ring base. So I'm going to do that by stringing on one size 11 seed bead on each needle. And I'm going to come right back to the beginning of my ring base, and where I've put those initial 7 seed beads on, and I'm going to pass my needle through the center, the 4th seed bead. I'm going to go right here with this needle, right to left with the right needle, and left to right through the same bead we're crossing over right there. And I'm going to pull my threads. And this will complete the ring base and the ring band. Fits pretty well. Now, I have an issue with things coming loose, so I'm now going to reinforce my ring band by going back to the beginning of the ring band by reinforcing. I'm going to cross my needle, pass this right needle through the side bead, the side 11 seed bead. I'm going to cross my left needle, pass my left needle through the left side, size 11 seed bead, and I'm going to continue with the left needle by crossing it through this crossover seed bead right here. And with my right needle, I'm going to cross this needle right through the same crossover seed bead right there. And while you're not looking, I'm going to continue this, and I'm going to reinforce my entire ring band. And when I get back to the beginning, when I get right here, I'm going to show you what I'm going to do next. I have completed reinforcing my ring band, and my threads are coming out of this one crossover bead right here. And now I need to get into the proper position to attach my super tops. So I'm going to pass my right needle through these 3 size 11 seed beads on the right. I'm going to pass my left needle through these 3 size 11 seed beads on the left. And I'm going to cross these needles through this cuboid bead right there. And pull tightly. Make sure that everything is in its proper position. Another final sizing, and we're looking good. Everything is tight, all the threads are together, everything's looking good. So now I feel comfortable to add my super tops. I'm going to do that by stringing on two size 11 seed beads on each needle, and I'm going to pass string on the SuperDuo, and I'm going to make sure that both holes are open, and then I'm going to cross my needles through the top or first hole of the SuperDuo bead. I'm going to pull the threads. I'm going to continue by stringing on 1 size 11 seed bead on each needle, and I'm going to cross my needles through the second hole of the SuperDuo bead. Just have to hold it in place. It's going to be a little wonky until you anchor it to the second side of the that right angle weave unit. I'm going to attach it in order to complete making the super top unit. I'm going to string on 2 size 11 seed beads on each needle, and I'm going to cross my needles through this other side of this right angle weave unit. And that will complete the first super top addition. And stand by for a second while I get a couple more of my seed beads. So to continue to make the second super top, we're going to start off by stringing on 2 size 11 seed beads on each needle, and we're going to string on a SuperDuo bead. We're going to make sure that second hole is open before we continue, and it's open. And I'm going to cross my needles through the top or the first hole of the SuperDuo bead and pull my threads. This time we're going to string on 3 size 11 seed beads, and we're going to pass our needles through the second hole of the SuperDuo bead. So in the center unit I want a picot on each side. So the picot here. We want to make sure we're just picking up that SuperDuo bead and not going through that other seed bead. And pull your threads, and then you got your little picots on each side. And to anchor it to the unit, we continue by stringing on 2 seed beads on each needle, and we'll pass our needles through the other side of the unit. Make sure your thread is tight. Make sure your picot is neat. Make sure that your threads aren't tangled around like I am here. Wow, I'm glad I checked that. Yep, there you go. Now it will lay properly. Just make sure your threads aren't tangled around the previous beads that you added. And then to complete the third super top, same thing systematically. String on 2 size seed beads on each needle. String on a SuperDuo bead. Make sure your second hole is open, and it is. So that means I will pass my needles, cross my needles through the first hole of the SuperDuo bead. Pull the threads. On each needle, you string on 1 size 11 seed bead and cross your needles through the second hole of the SuperDuo bead. Pull your threads. It's morning. I think I need my tea. Haven't had it yet. And then to complete this super top, string on 2 size 11 seed beads on each needle, and we're going to anchor it to the other side of this right angle weave unit, crossing through the cuboid beads right there. And just the cuboid bead. Pull your thread. So make sure that you are in the position that you want to be. This looks a little wavy. I just want to straighten that out. Make sure that everything is good. We know it fits already. And so that's how we do the super top raw ring. So I'm going to turn my ring over. I'm going to turn it inside out, which means I have to make sure that my threads are in their proper positions. We don't want to have a mess with threads. So I'm going now to finish off the ring. So I have it upside down so that I can make knots and hide the knots in the cuboid beads. In the regular right angle weave fashion, I'm going to pass my needles through the side beads of these cuboids. I'm going to pass one needle through the crossover bead. And once I do that, make sure it's tight. I'm just going to tie the overhand knot. And I'm going to do it again to secure it. This time I'm going to run the needle back through that loop twice. I'm going to take my left needle and I'm going to pass it through the crossover bead and lose my needle, of course. I'm going to pull tightly to make sure I have the tightest knot possible. This is 8-pound fire line, so we don't really have to worry about anything happening to this fire line. It's tough. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop my knot right, there you go, pop the knot right into that cuboid bead. This is a pretty secure project. I'm not too worried about losing any beads or it pulling apart, so I'm just going to nip my threads right here and just leave a little bit right there. And what I'm going to do is, I really don't want to do this in front of my camera. I really want to burn these little tails, but how I'm going to do it is I'm just going to, I don't know, all right, that's not directly there. Just take the light part of it and just get to the, make a little ball there, make a ball, secure it in. And on the other side, do the same thing, pop it, make a little ball with the blue part of the fire and smush that in there. And there you have it. You have your little stoppers here. The threads, I don't believe, are going to unravel, and if they pull loose, they're not going to fall apart. So now you just flip the ring back over, and there you have it. My super top raw ring. I hope you like the project, and I hope you make it. See you next time.